Dear students, in this lecture, we are going to continue the story of arrival of European colonial forces into India. So colonial forces means what? They come with an intention to establish their own colonies, build their own factories, and if possible, capture the country itself. So we have already covered the history of Portuguese rise and fall. So it means the first European power to come to India, were Portuguese. So they came to India in 1498. So after them, the second political European power to come to India was of the Dutch. Dutch means today's Netherlands. So let us study the history of arrival of the Dutch. So there was a company known as Dutch East India Company. So by the way, what is meant by this East India? So East India was basically the name given to the regions of India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia. So everything on the east of Arabian Ocean. So that was East India. So there were many companies by the name East India Company. There was a East India Company in Britain. There was a East India Company in Dutch, Holland, Netherlands. There was a East India Company in Spain. So all these companies were formed with an aim that one day they will go to India and all the other countries like India, Indonesia, Malaysia, all the nearby countries, and start trade with them, because this is a company, so that their main aim is to do trade, business. So what was Dutch East India Company? In 1602, the Dutch East India Company was formed. So in Dutch language, the name was given VOC. So you are not interested in the full form. Just remember that VOC was the name of the company. You can see the logo. So it still exists today. The Dutch, so you have to remember that when was this formed? This was formed in 1602. The Dutch Parliament gave it a charter empowering it to make war, conclude treaties, acquire treaties, and build fortresses. So that means though it was a company, but during those days, companies have to face different kind of hostilities, different kind of problems, because you are going to a foreign country. So who knows what the situation might be. So the Dutch Parliament gave them the authority that you can take decisions on going to war, concluding treaties, acquiring territories, building fortresses. So you have all the authority, you have all the power with you. So you have to remember a few critical facts about this company. Which company? Dutch East India Company. That this was the first multinational corporation of the world, first company to issue stock, also the first company which was given power to engage itself in colonial activities. So you have to remember there are many firsts associated with this company. This is a company after all. So it is known as first multinational corporation because it was operational in more than one countries. So first multinational, first company to issue stock. You have to remember this. Also, it was the first company which was given power to engage itself in colonial activities. What do you mean by colonial activities? You go to any country, but you are a company, but you start doing something else. You start establishing your colonies. So if you will establish your own colonies, what will Indians do? They will fight with you. So you have the authority to make war, to conclude treaties, build fortresses. So if you establish colony, you can build fortress for safety purpose. So it was very clear from the onset itself that Dutch had ambitions of capturing East India, not doing trade. So Dutch gained control over Indonesia, and about the same time the British took over India, Ceylon. So Today it is known as Sri Lanka. Back then it was known as Ceylon and Malaysia. So you have a look. This is the map of East India. The Europeans used to call this East India. So you can see Portuguese had already come to India and Dutch had just now come to India. So have a look at this map. This is green color means Portuguese. Here also Portuguese are there. All these orange colors are Dutch colonies. Dutch colonies. So Dutch were present in not only in India but also in, you can see, Indonesia, Malaysia. So Dutch gained control over Indonesia, and about the same time British took over India and Sri Lanka and Malaysia. The main interest of Dutch was not in India but in Indonesian islands of Java, Sumatra and the Spice Islands where spice were produced. Please understand something. So this is equator. So equator means heavy rainfall. The equatorial region, the region located near to equator is known as equatorial region. So equatorial region means heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall. So heavy rainfall, those regions which face heavy rainfall were good at growing spices. So these countries basically were the hub of spice trade. So Dutch were basically interested in this region. This region. Spices were produced in India as well, but they were majorly produced in Kerala, and Kerala was under control of Portuguese. That's why the Dutch focused more on the Indonesia and Malaysia part. Dutch dislodged the Portuguese from the Malay Straits and Indonesian islands and succeeded in stopping the British from gaining any foothold there. So you can understand, two political powers entered this region at the same time, Dutch and English. Both wanted to capture this area, but Dutch did not allow English to capture this. So English limited themselves, or the Britishers limited themselves to this region, India, Sri Lanka, Burma region. So this is what actually happened in course of history. So Dutch people established their command, monopoly over this region, Indonesia, Malaysia, Spice Islands. And Dutch also dislodged the Portuguese because Portuguese have come earlier. So they were present here they were present in Malay Strait. Malay Strait means this region. So the Portuguese people were removed from here. That means total control was taken over by Dutch East India Company. So now this was about what Dutch were doing in Indonesia, Malaysia, but what were they doing in India? So the Dutch set up their first factory at Masulipatam. So what you are looking at, this is the Dutch flag. So Masulipatam is in Andhra Pradesh. It is a coastal town. So the Dutch set up their first factory at Masulipatam in 1605. Very important fact. Where was the first Dutch company established? In Masulipatam. Where was the first Portuguese company established? Portuguese. So it was established in Calicut, Kerala. So please understand, this is India, this is Calicut, this is Masulipatam. So this coast, eastern coast, was under Portuguese control. Sorry, western coast was under Portuguese control and eastern coast was taken control by Dutch. So within the next 3 decades, the Dutch had established factories at Pulicat, Surat, Karikal, Chinsura, Kasim Bazar, Badanagar, all in today's Bengal, modern Bengal. Patna, Balasore. Patna is in Bihar, Balasore is in Odisha. But during those times, all these were part of Bengal province. So you can see that Dutch are more interested in this region, eastern coast, because this side Portuguese have already captured everything. So Pulicat is in Tamil Nadu. So Pulicat was their center, or you can say their capital, till 1690. After which Nagapattinam, which is again in Tamil Nadu, became their capital. So you have to remember that till during the Dutch Raj, you can say Dutch India, there were two capitals. Their first capital was Pulicat. Pulicat was their first capital, but later on they changed their capital and made Nagapattinam their capital. Both these places are in modern day Tamil Nadu. So what were the Dutch doing in India? They are a company. So what are they doing? The most important Indian commodities that the Dutch traded were silk, cotton, indigo. So indigo is basically used to create dye, coloring the clothes. Rice and opium. Indigo was imported by the Dutch from Yamuna Valley. Saltpetre was imported from Bihar and silk from Bengal. What is this saltpetre? So saltpetre was a, you can say, mineral used to make gunpowder which is used to fight wars. So this is what the Dutch were doing. So spice, what about spice? Spice they were getting from Indonesia and Malaysia. From India, they were not getting spices because spice trade was under control of Portuguese. Now Dutch have to fight with Portuguese because Portuguese have already made their presence in this region of East India. Now Dutch have arrived. So now these two started fighting. The Dutch-Portuguese War. So this was named as Dutch-Portuguese War. So this war actually started in Europe. So in Europe, the first country to start these sea voyages were the Portuguese people. So they had a monopoly. But when the Dutch people also mastered the art of sea voyages, the problem started. They started, in a rat race. They started competing with each other. So this rivalry began in Europe and it was extended in India also. So the Dutch-Portuguese War was an armed conflict involving the Dutch forces in form of Dutch East India Company and the Dutch West India Company against the Portuguese Empire. So there were two Dutch companies, East India and West India. So Dutch were fighting with the Portuguese. Now it is interesting to note that English forces also assisted the Dutch at certain points in the war. So because English and Dutch have together come to East Indies and their common enemy was Portuguese. So for some time they joined hands. They said that let's kick this Portuguese out. So English forces also assisted the Dutch at certain points in war. Though in later decades, English and Dutch would also become rivals. So once the Portuguese were taken care of, once the threat of Portuguese were gone, they started fighting amongst themselves. Now, because of the commodity at the center of the conflict, this war would be nicknamed the Spice War. So Spice War was fought between whom? Dutch, Portuguese and also English was in, or the British people were involved in it. So commodity, why were they fighting? Because they wanted to control the business of spice. By 17th century, the Dutch were able to expel Portuguese also from most parts of India and Ceylon. So this problem had started in Europe. In Europe also Dutch was winning. So Dutch people were winning in Europe and same was happening in India as well. Because if you become weak in your homeland, you cannot defend your foreign empire. So Portuguese became weak in Europe, their all power was lost. So by 17th century, the Dutch were able to expel Portuguese from most parts of India and Sri Lanka, Ceylon. In 1641, they occupied Malacca. Malacca is a straight water body near Indonesia and Malaysia. That means now Portuguese people are thrown out of East India. In 1652, they were able to capture the Cape of Good Hope. So Cape of Good Hope is in South Africa. So Cape of Good Hope was also under the control of Portuguese. So you can see that Portuguese people lost all their power, and who actually defeated them? The Dutch people actually defeated them with some help from British people. So you can see that Dutch and British, they were helping each other during initial days. So that's why they had some agreement amongst themselves. The English were also at this time rising to prominence in Eastern trade, and this posed a serious challenge to the commercial interest of the Dutch. See, they were not friends, now they were competitors, but they were helping each other. Both wanted to control trade. Dutch and English both wanted to control the spice war, spice trade. So it was obvious that they would fight amongst themselves for this control. So commercial rivalry soon turned into a bloody warfare. What was the commercial rivalry? They both wanted control over spice trade. Who? The Dutch and the English. So commercial rivalry soon turned into bloody warfare. After prolonged warfare, both the parties came to a compromise in 1667. You don't have to remember all these years. I will tell you what you have to remember. The British agreed. So what was this compromise? They come to an agreement. But what was the agreement? The British agreed to withdraw all their claims on Indonesia. So this is Indonesia. The British said that, okay, you take Indonesia and give us India. And Dutch stopped their expansion in India to concentrate on their more profitable trade in Indonesia. So it was like saying that I won't interfere in your business in Indonesia. You don't interfere in my business in India. So that's how for some time, these two people avoided war. They avoided going to war with each other because they separated their areas. The next major event was Kingdom of Travancore came into conflict with the Dutch people. Because the Dutch people, these Dutch had controlled the eastern coast, which is also known as Coromandel coast. So Travancore is here. This was the Kingdom of Travancore. So Kingdom of Travancore came into conflict with Dutch. The Battle of Colachel was fought between the Kingdom of Travancore and Dutch East India Company. You don't have to remember the year, but you have to remember the name of the battle, because this is the only major battle fought by the Dutch people on Indian soil with Indian power. Because they also fought with British later on, but this is their first war with any Indian. So the Battle of Colachel was fought between whom? The King of Travancore and the Dutch people. The battle resulted in famous victory for the Travancore forces. So Travancore defeated. Indians won. Travancore, King of Travancore won. So King of Travancore won means what? The Dutch people were thrown out from here. Forever ending Dutch colonial ambitions in Indian subcontinent. So after this defeat, the Dutch lost all their power in India. This is considered as one of the earliest instances of an organized Asian power overcoming a European army. So you can see Dutch means European. So an Indian king for the first time managed to defeat a European army. The name of the king was Martandavarma. So Martandavarma, the ruler of Travancore, handed a crushing defeat to the Portuguese navy. The captured Dutch military generals were taken into the service of Travancore army. So once the Dutch people were defeated, the king of Travancore thought that instead of killing these people, I will ask them to train my Indian army. So he did not kill the captured Dutch generals. He simply asked them, if you want to stay alive, you have to join my army and you have to train my army in how to fire gun, how to make gunpowder, how to make ships. So the captured Dutch military generals were taken into the service of Travancore's army, as King Martandavarma was impressed with the Dutch military tactics. So he wanted his army to learn from the Dutch people. So this is important fact. Thus, Travancore became the first Indian kingdom whose army was trained by the Europeans. Later on, you will see that Tipu Sultan's army was trained by French. But that happened 20, 25, 30 years later. So he is the first king who is taking European help to train his own army. So now comes the time of final expulsion of Dutch. So Dutch have already lost their control of Coromandel coast. So now comes the time when they will be finally kicked out of our country. So let's see how did that happen. After being defeated by the Travancore, the Dutch lost control of their settlements and factories on Coromandel coast. So India have two coasts. Kerala side is known as Malabar coast and eastern side is known as Coromandel coast. So after being defeated by Travancore, the Dutch people lost control over Coromandel coast. The Dutch people then diverted their entire attention towards their colonies in Indonesia and neglected India because they thought that now we have got nothing to do in India. In the middle of 17th century, the English began to challenge them. So earlier English have told them that, okay, let's not fight, let's divide territories. But now English understood that they have become very weak. So let's throw them out of India. Their final collapse came with their defeat by the English in the Battle of Bedera. You have to just remember the name of the battle. You don't have to remember year. So Battle of Bedera was fought between Dutch and English. So in this battle, the Dutch power was ended for once and all. Their army was destroyed on a large scale. So one by one, the Dutch lost their settlement to English and their expulsion from their position in India by the Britishers came in 1795. So finally in 1795, the Dutch people left India forever. They left India. So why? Because they were defeated badly by the English and before that they were defeated by Travancore. So they left India and their entire focus shifted to Indonesia. So goodbye. Let's say goodbye to Dutches.